Okay, let's talk about Generation 8. This video will be dedicated to talking about Generation 8 because I want to talk about Generation 8 of the new Pokemon games. And by Generation 8, I mean the new games that are coming out after Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I'm not feeling like talking about Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Anyway. Generation 8. How ridiculous can they possibly change it? Like, I've been wanting extreme changes for a while now. Something to, like, make Pokemon more interesting. Something to make them less boring. Back in Generation 6, they introduced something brand new, Mega Evolution. That was a big deal. I remember when I saw Mega Evolution for the first time, I was like, this is cool. Then Generation 7 introduced Z-Moves. Kinda cool, yeah. It's new, it's interesting, stuff like that. That's cool. Generation 8, obviously, if they're gonna stay in business, has to do something better than that. They have to keep going. They have to make something brand new. So, Mega Evolution changed Pokemon. Z-Moves changed moves. So maybe Generation 8 will add something to items or abilities, like... First of all, here's something I've been wanting for a long time, man. I'm not comfortable with this microphone. Anyway, something I've wanted for a long time was abilities that are like, you know, what's the term? Intentional. Like, for example, an ability like Static. You don't control when it activates. It's random, which, of course, makes the game more random, and that's okay. Not only is it random, like, you can't control when it activates. And, like... And other abilities aren't random, but they have requirements, like... Blaze requires your HP to be low. Poison Touch or Poison Point requires you to attack the opponent or get attacked, but those are also random. They're assigned random values. I'm trying to think of another ability. Lightning Rod requires you to be attacked, so it's not random. Like, basically some abilities are random, but none of them are activated exactly when you want unless you meet certain requirements. So, yeah. And the more that you have to attempt, like, for example, you want to activate Static, so you make contact with your opponent, it's still random. So it's like, you know, I want them to introduce something that I would call super abilities, or mega abilities, or ultra abilities, or special abilities, or something that is not just standard abilities. Okay, that's a Caterpie. I've played Soul Silver my whole life, and this is Heart Gold, so finding a Caterpie to me is a big deal. I've never seen a Caterpie outside of, like, bug-catching contests. I'm always used to seeing Weedle, and I've never actually evolved the Weedle all the way into Beedrill, because I was never, like, into Beedrill, but now that I'm older and I know better, I'm like, Beedrill is a really cool, strong Pokemon. So, the next time I play Soul Silver, I'll definitely train a Beedrill. But now that I'm playing Heart Gold, I'm like... Caterpie is so rare. I've never seen a Caterpie before. But it's the version exclusive of Weedle. And I don't have a Fire-type move like I thought I did. I'm gonna have to level up. Okay. And these super abilities, as we'll just call them from now on, is an ability, like a skill, that you can activate, let's say, once per battle. Just like how Mega Evolution is once per battle, and Z-moves are once per battle. So a special ability is something that you can activate only once per battle. Which regular abilities aren't like that. Some abilities might activate never, some only once per battle, and some every turn. But a special ability, I would make them only once per battle, because you actually control because you can tell your Pokemon what move to use every turn, but the ability of, like, a special ability would be like that. You have an option, a new button on the menu screen. I would make it like that, and yeah, you can control the special ability when it activates. And what it does, well, it obviously has to be something really, really powerful to make this worth it, but not so powerful that it's broken. We need to have, you know, damage control. So, an example of a good special ability would be like, for Pikachu, while its standard ability would be static, its special ability could be super static. And super static is basically like static, except instead of randomly paralyzing your opponent when they make contact, super static paralyzes the opponent guaranteed. So it's basically like Thunder Wave, except it's not a move, it's a special ability. So you could use a move like, say, Thunderbolt in the same turn you activate your special ability, because obviously it's separate from a move. You could do it on top of that, just like Mega Evolution. So Pikachu could activate its super ability, paralyze the opponent, and attack it in the same turn, but its super ability would only be able to be activated once per battle, you know, not more than once, to keep it from being broken. Does this make any sense? I think this is a great idea, and I came up with it just like on the fly, like, this should be how it should be, you know? If Generation 8 does this, I'm going to be so happy that by chance I can see the future. I'd love to see the future like that, but, you know, I'm just making stuff up. Okay. Now, introducing a new mechanic is something they do all the time, but what if, instead of introducing a new mechanic, Generation 8 changes old ones drastically? What if they change the rules that has been in play since forever? Like classic rules. Classic rules, like mechanics that have been rules forever, and they just change them. Like, for example, teams have, since Pokemon Red and Blue, been 6. You can't have more than 6 Pokemon. You can have up to 6 Pokemon. That's always been set in stone. What if Generation 8 breaks that rule? What if they change the team size? Maybe make it 5, which I would not recommend. Maybe make it 7 or more, which, again, there's no good reason to do that except for the fact that it'd be cool. Everyone would love to have a bigger team, right? Like, sometimes you have a lot of favorite Pokemon, and you don't have enough room for all of them because, you, like, let's say you have 7 favorite Pokemon, and the team has to have 6. Does that make sense? Like, what if they did make the team size 7 or 8 or 10? Nah. They're not gonna change that. I'm just speculating. What's another mechanic that they will probably not change because it's been basic forever, but which I might consider changing? Like, a 5th move slot. Everyone hates 4-move syndrome. Certain Pokemon learn so many good moves, and there's no room for all of them because every Pokemon can only learn 4 moves. Now, Z-moves was one answer for this because it's technically a 5th move. But Z-moves aren't a 5th move. They're something else. You can only use them once per battle. They're an upgraded version of a move you have. Some of them have very specific requirements of the moves you have, and you also need to hold a Z-Crystal. If they actually literally gave Pokemon a 5th move slot, it might make certain people happy, but I still think that it's not necessary. It'd be cool, but they're probably not going to do that either. It's like completely unlikely. So, a larger team size, other than 6, and a larger move pool, like move slots other than 4. Does anyone think that would be a good idea? Like, I know the reasons why it's a bad idea, but still, I can't help but wonder. I still think my super ability idea is golden. Like, they should introduce super abilities in Generation 8. Like, the Generation 8 main games may very well do that by coincidence. Like, that'd be so awesome. Super abilities, like an upgraded ability that you can activate only once per battle. Like, you know. And it's not random, you activate it whenever you want. Misclicked. What other mechanics could Generation 8 introduce? They could introduce new types, but I have a feeling that 18 types is good enough. Like, introducing the fairy typing, that came out of nowhere. And people, when X and Y were first hinted, were like, oh, they're going to introduce sound and light type, you know? They thought Yveltal could be sound and Xerneas could be light, and it made sense. for reasons. You know, Xerneas has a rainbow-colored horns, and a rainbow is made of light. Yveltal, when he puts his wings up, looks like a tuning fork, so it could be a sound type. You know, that's just one theory I saw back then. I remember that was when I was first interested in new Pokemon games, you know, back around Generation 5 and 6. But still, they haven't introduced a new type since Fairy typing, and before that, Dark and Steel back in Generation 2. Anyway, so I do not expect new types, but if they did introduce new types, it would not be Sound and Light. Light is already covered by Psychic types. Psychic types represent the mind and represent light, because they're the opposite of the Dark type. And Dark beats Psychic for some reason. You would think Light would beat Dark, but that's what Fairy's for. So, yeah. Whatever. Obviously, another thing I would love in Generation 8 is more Mega Evolutions, which, at this point, they're guaranteed to introduce, because if they make Generation 8 with no new Mega Evolutions, there will be violence. There will be riots. I'm not asking for it. I'm promising it. It's gonna happen. So they're gonna do it. Now, which Pokemon will get Mega Evolutions in Generation 8? I don't know. There's any number of them. Let's see. The Sinnoh starters, for one. They will get Mega Evolutions in Generation 8. I almost guarantee it. I can't even imagine what they'll look like or what types they'll be. But really, why would they change their types? Torterra, as a grass-ground type, I can see potentially becoming a dragon type, because it's a reptile. But Sceptile is already a grass-dragon type, and Charizard also got a dragon typing. So Torterra also being a grass-dragon type is not likely. It's not likely. I'd love that. Dragon typing is very easy to slap onto many Pokemon. But why would they give it to Ampharos? Back when they gave Ampharos a dragon-type Mega Evolution, sheep have nothing to do with dragons. Charizard, yes. Sceptile, yes. Torterra, even. But not Ampharos. Whatever. They didn't even give it to Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl's not a dragon type. It could easily be a dragon or a dark type. I'm going to make a video of a list of every Pokemon whose basic types is not what we expect, and predicting what their Mega Evolution's type should be, or what their type should be. And then I'm going to make predictions for future Mega Evolutions with that correct typing. And, as well as regional variants, or possibly just, you know, maybe it's never going to happen. There's a lot of examples. For example, Luxray could be a dark type. Aerodactyl could be a dragon or a dark type. Gyarados could be a dragon type. Torterra could be a dragon type. Florges could be a grass type, you know? All of these are Pokemon whose typings does not meet expectations, which is fine, because their Mega Evolutions could very well in the future have these typings. And remember, Mewtwo and Charizard both have 2 Mega Evolutions, so just because a Pokemon already has a Mega Evolution doesn't mean it might not get a second one, because anything's on the table. As I was saying, Pokemon with 2 Mega Evolutions is not off the table. Yeah, it can happen. Where was I? Okay. Okay. But I'm not gonna say too much about that, because that's for another video. Going back home. No! I hate glitches. Okay, we're good. I'm gonna need a new computer soon. This computer is really old. I need a new processor. Like, this is just so slow. As I was saying, what else could Generation 8 introduce? I don't know. But what I really want to see again is Battle Frontiers like in Generation 4. Generation 4's Battle Frontiers were fun. The battle places that they introduced in Generation 5 were okay. And Generation 6 and 7 were also okay. I like that. But I also want to return to Generation 4. So if Generation 8 makes Gen 4 remakes, which, again, if they don't, there will be riots. If they're gonna make, you know, Gen 4 remakes in Generation 8, after the main games, of course, with the new region, it's a perfect opportunity to return to the old-fashioned Battle Frontier. The Battle Frontiers that we saw in Heart Gold, Soul Silver, and Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. I love the Battle Frontier of those regions. It's just you know. Only because those are my first games. Generation 4 was my first games, so it brings back a lot of nostalgic memories. Where was I? Do they have Pokeballs yet? I want to catch some Pokemon. Nope. Well, that sucks. Okay. So new Mega Evolutions. Maybe new Z moves, maybe new Ultra Beasts. So far, the only Generation 8 Pokemon that we have any knowledge of is Melton from Pokemon Go and Pokemon Let's Go. Ooh, trainer battle. I did not train enough. Oh well, I can beat him. With his... Yeah, I don't know if that's any good, but I've been practicing on my Totodile impression. If that was remotely good, it's not getting edited out. Passerby boy sent out. Okay, I'll stop. Yeah, not knowing a fire type move doesn't hurt me because it wouldn't have helped anyway. I'm only 3 levels above him. If I was playing this game seriously, I'd already be level 10, but who cares? Let's play it safe. Nothing more broken than lowering accuracy or evasion. As I was saying, I can't possibly make more predictions about Generation 8 other than what I already said, but like, you know. Oh, as for the region, obviously, should be the British Isles. If Generation 6 was Kalos based on France, and Generation 7 was Alola based on Hawaii, why not make Generation 8 based on the British Isles? Like, you know, Great Britain. And, you know, it's perfect. I already made a video predicting this because the Chatelaine sisters, while they were born and raised in Hoenn, and they also have their Battle Institute in Hoenn and in Kalos, they all have British accents, as I explained in my video and proved based on their words and their mannerisms. So, the Chatelaine sisters from the Battle Mason all have British accents, or let's say Scottish or Irish, or very, you know, very various British dialect accents. So, they obviously grew up at some point in England and borrowed those accents, because everyone knows that if you grow up or live somewhere long enough, your accent changes eventually. And even though they were born and raised in Hoenn, there's no reason why they couldn't have gone to another region and gotten their British accents. And since we haven't had that region yet, I'm predicting it's going to be Generation 8. People are wishing for a Germany-based Generation 8 region. No, why Germany? There's nothing great about Germany when you could have the British Isles, obviously. No hate for Germany, of course. Germany's beautiful. I've been to Germany. Germany's probably like one of the most beautiful countries I've ever seen. Then I went to Austria. No offense to Germany again, but Austria is the most beautiful country I've ever seen. And Germany's quite close. I would love to see regions like that, but we've already seen France, and I've been to France too. France is beautiful. Kalos is beautiful. I love Kalos's mountains, the landscape, and the music. Oh, there's nothing better than Generation 6's Kalos music. It was sublime. Some people are hating on it, but they're just kids who don't appreciate the classicals, the classics. You know, classical music is the best kind of music. Obviously, you know. None of that, you know, whatever. But every region has its perks, and I'm a big fan of lots of music. I love Generation 7 music, I love Generation 6 music, I love Generation 5 music. Unova has great music, but I haven't heard it in a while since it's been a while. I don't have a lot of time for Pokemon games. But now that I'm older, I appreciate music a lot more than I used to. But no music is better than Kalos music, I guess. Anyway, Generation 8. Being in Britain, England, whatever. You know, I mean, I'm aware, you know. Let's see, how does it work? England is a part of Great Britain, which is part of the United Kingdom. Okay. Yeah, everyone knows that. I got it right, you know. So, should I say that the region will be based on England, Great Britain, or the United Kingdom? I say British Isles, just to be, you know, specific when it comes geographically, because obviously we don't need political locations, we need geographic locations. So it just so happens that Generation 6 was based on a country, France, but really it doesn't matter. The first 4 generations were based on 4 different regions of one country, Japan. Everyone knows that. I have memorized the location of every single hidden item in every single game I've ever played. But that's just me with my good memory. Of course, there's some I might have forgotten, and of course, I haven't even finished Ultra Sun yet. I'm still playing it. That's how busy I am. Okay. Generation 8. My bet is British Isles. I want super abilities, but there's no evidence of that yet. But come on. If Mega Evolution evolves Pokemon, and Z moves evolve moves, then we need something to evolve abilities. It's like, you know, they've done Pokemon, they've done moves, now they have to do other stuff like items and abilities. And since there's no items in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, because it is based on Generation 1, and it is not aimed at, you know, the experienced players, it's aimed at newer players. And there's nothing wrong with Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. I think I'm going to enjoy it. But the fact that they are going backwards in mechanics when it comes to Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and there's no items or abilities, so I shouldn't use this as evidence. Yeah, so the fact that Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee has no items or abilities because they're going to the classics back in Generation 1, where there are no items and there's no abilities in Red, Blue, or Yellow, Generation 8, of course, will return to having both items and abilities. So any one of them could be updated in a new mechanic, just like how Mega Evolution, you know, evolves Pokemon, and Z moves evolves moves. So Generation 8 might evolve items, abilities, or both. And maybe other things I can't even think of right now because I'm so distracted. So it could be both items and abilities, but I'm betting on abilities. Like, that's what I want. I'm wishing for abilities because the idea of super abilities that you activate when you want, but only once per battle, sounds so cool. Okay, so super static would paralyze the opponent whenever you want. So, you know, you don't even have to have Thunder Wave if you're willing to use the move once. So let's say in a pinch. But you know what would make it even more interesting? If instead of activating it when you want, you need to be in a pinch. So there are still requirements. So actually that kind of goes against my whole point. I was complaining that regular abilities are either random or have too many requirements. And I wanted super abilities to be activated when you want. So to make it more balanced, a super ability can be activated only once, whenever you want, but with a requirement, like let's say you need to have low HP. Now obviously that is already a requirement for abilities like Blaze and other stuff like that. And activating items like, you know, citrus berries, let's say. So which would be better? Super abilities being activated whenever you want, or only when you have low HP? There's a lot of things to consider here. Anyway, let's think of more examples. Super Blaze. Instead of powering up your fire-type moves when you're in a pinch, powers up one move in power once of its particular type. So Swarm for bug types, Blaze for fire types, Torrent for water types, and Overgrowth for grass types. And you could just power up one move. So it's like a Z move, except it's still the same move, just a powered up version of it. So it'd be like holding, say, you know, Charcoal or a Life Orb, you know? Except it's a super ability that you get to use once. I like that. I like that. Super Sturdy. Super Sturdy, when activated, lets you survive any one move once, regardless if you have full HP or not. So Sturdy always lets you survive on 1 HP if you were hit with full HP. But Super Sturdy, which can be only used once, lets you survive any move once. I like that. That's a good version of Super Sturdy. Let's think of another ability, something you see a lot. I can't think of any. Okay, I mean, the first one I thought of was Tangled Feet. Tangled Feet, the way it is, boosts your evasiveness if you are confused. I could say maybe Super Tangled Feet could let you dodge one move once. Like, whenever you want, you just say, okay, I activate this ability. This turn, I dodge any move, you know, for one turn. I like that. I like that. Yeah, this video is getting pretty long. So, what do you guys think of super abilities and other Generation 8 ideas? Like, does it make sense? Is it a good idea? I think it's a good idea. I might even make another video, you know. I could make a like a hypothetical super ability version of every ability. I could do that right now. Okay. Okay, that's what I'm going to do right now. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. Share with a friend if you really liked. And don't forget to hit that notification bell, because it helps me out. And I'll see you guys next time.